Welcome back. You're watching NewsX and I'm Megha Sharma. And in this segment, we are focusing on the early vote, the postal ballot, and the people who have come out in large numbers. You know, an unprecedented 81 million people and more have come out and cast their vote even before the election day. So we are going to break down these numbers. What is it that these numbers are going to then be indicative of? How are the voting patterns going to be decided because of the early voting that has happened already? And also, you know, early voting is going to be the primary reason that the election results will not be able to be called out on the 6th of November. It could take days together, I don't know, 5, 6, you never know. This was the case in the 2020 elections as well. Let's take a look at the numbers, and particularly with regards to you know, each of the states, their populations and the early voting that has taken place in the different regions. And I'm particularly talking about the swing states as well. And here are the numbers. This is early voting. This is take a look at 2024. You know, 81 million people have already cast their vote. And in 2020, that number was 101.3 million. And of course, you know, outlier 2020, it was the COVID year. So it was expected that people will not step out of the house, but they are going to nonetheless exercise their franchise. 2016, 50.1 million people cast their vote in the early voting. There were, in 2012, there were 46.2 million early voting incidents that were reported. Let's take a look at you know, further breakdown of the 81 million, a little more than 81 million, the early votes that at this point of time have been counted by the election officials. You take a look at, you know, the Republicans. There are 39% is, actually this is, the Democrats is at 41% and Republicans are at 39%. So this is not indicative of the voters deciding, or not just deciding, have cast their vote for one particular party, but these are the registered voters, the registered Republican voters and the registered Democratic voters. Let's take a look at this division age-wise. Keeping in mind, let's start off with 18 to 29 years of age. There are 9% of the voters in the age group of 18 and 29 who have cast their vote in early voting. When you take a look at the age group of 30 to 39 years, this is 11% of the voters in this age group have cast their vote. Let's take a look at the age group which is 40 to 49 years. 13% of the voters in this age group have already cast their vote. Let's take a look at 50 to 64 years, and in this age group there are 27% of the people who have already cast their vote. But the maximum number of people who have cast their vote, exercise their franchise by way of postal voting or by way of actually trickling into the polling booths and casting their vote before November 5th, 40% of the people who are above the age of 65 years have cast their vote, which is also understandable. Let's take a look at the gender-wise division of the number of people who have cast their vote. Early voting that has, you know, the trend that is very visible today. There are 44% of the men that have cast their vote in early voting. 53% of the women are the ones who have cast their vote in early voting. All right, now that we have these numbers, let's also take a look at the voter type. This is an important division as well, because, you know, while postal people have exercised their franchise by postal voting, it's 56%. In-person voting is at 44%. So just a slight margin of the mail-in votes, which is 56% to 44%. Here's a look at the top 5 states that have cast the most early votes, and there you have the ballot that has been cast. There are almost 9 million ballots that have been cast, and this is the state of Texas, one of the states with the maximum number of electoral college votes. Registered Democrats at 37%, registered Republicans at 50%, and there are others at 13%. Let's take a look at the second state, which is Florida. Again, the ballots that have been cast, this is a little over 8 million ballots. Registered Democrats in the state of Florida, 33%. registered Republicans at 43% and others at 24%. Let's take a look at the third state, and that's California, you know, the state with the maximum number of electoral college votes, which is 54. There are, you know, it's falling shy. It's about, 7,975,000 ballots that have been cast before November 5th elections. Now, the registered Democrats are 49%, registered Republicans are 30%, others are at 21%. Let's take a look at the fourth state with the early ballots that have been cast. The maximum number of early ballots, that's, stands at 4,453,000 ballots that have been cast. This is in North Carolina. This is a swing state. There's a look at the registered Democrat voters at 32%. Registered Republicans are at 33% and the others at 35%. And finally, the last state with the maximum number of early ballots that have been cast, this is Georgia, another swing state. We have 4,118,000 ballots that have been cast before November 5. Registered Democrats 45%, registered Republicans 48%, others at 7%. So these are interesting statistics and also helps us gauge, the pulse of the voters. It's interesting to note that there have been a number of these voters who have registered themselves as Republicans, the others with the Democrats. But are they then, the likelihood of them voting for their preferred party is a fair chance that they will obviously be voting for that political party that they are affiliated to.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.